Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. For the longest time, ESPN has been twerking it up for LeBron James. Day in and day out, even throughout this whole free agency period, where he was trying to figure out what team he wanted to go sign with. You had them doing PowerPoint presentations. You had people like Kendrick Perkins talking about LeBron is still a top 10 player. Why didn't Giannis pitch this guy? Why didn't the Lakers should give LeBron James a statue. The Lakers should prioritize LeBron over Austin. It's like one show after the other, to the point where when Skip Bayless came back about a few months ago to ESPN to do that show with Stephen A. Smith, it was legitimately a breath of fresh air. It was like, oh my God, finally, a different point of view on the network. Yeah, you may call Skip Bayless, he is a hater and will troll or whatever the hell it is, but at least we're getting a different point of view on things. And many of us have always said, and I've said, ESPN is the LeBron James network. But little did I know that this was actually a thing, like a real thing. So yesterday, I came across a show from Ric Bucher's channel. And this particular episode is called, Has LeBron Lost the Power He Once Had? Are the Lakers Responsible if he has? So I clicked on the show to watch it. And as you guys know, a lot of people have gotten upset with Ric Bucher over LeBron's free agency the decision. And they tried to spin it in a way like, oh, LeBron is in the power seat. He left the Lakers and blah, 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 blah. And Ric Bucher said, no, it's not the case. It's just not the case. He's not. They're like, you can't be on a veteran minimum talking about you're the boss here. He's like, even if you look at teams, like they were filling up their rosters and keeping one or two spots remaining for you and potentially Bronny. That doesn't make, like, you're not in a power position. And people like Shannon Sharp and others came after Ric Bucher. But the one thing that they couldn't question is his credibility and his tenure in sports media, because Bucher has been covering sports for decades. So during this episode that I was watching yesterday, he didn't reveal, because if you guys remember, Bucher used to work at ESPN. And he spoke about when he realized that ESPN was in bed with LeBron James all the way back in 2009, 2010. And I was like, so this explains it all. Take a quick listen to Ric Bucher here.
Use your thinking caps. The teams that are interested in LeBron are teams that are desperate for one reason or another and see rolling the dice on LeBron for a year or two as a worthwhile risk. That's still having value, but that's not leverage, and certainly not the leverage LeBron once enjoyed. And maybe I don't need to say this, but I will, since I get the sense that there are people sampling my work and perspective for the first time, even though I've been at this for 30 years now. Do the math. That means that I was at this well before LeBron showed up. There are people in the media who have built careers off of their views on LeBron, both favorable and unfavorable, but I am not one of them. I started covering the league 9 years before he arrived. I was hired by ESPN right around The Last Dance, 4 years before LeBron arrived. I left ESPN to do a national radio show so I could reduce my travel and be the kind of dad my dad had been for me. I also left because I believe NBA coverage didn't begin and end with LeBron. And over the course of my 14 years there, that was increasingly the way ESPN viewed the league. When I learned ESPN brass was negotiating with LeBron's camp to announce his decision in 2010 at the ESPYs, while I and others were going on air to talk about when he might make his announcement, without making us aware of those negotiations, I knew the network's relationship with LeBron had taken precedent over supporting the people covering him.
So you heard what Rick had to say. I don't think anyone can question what Rick is saying, especially based off of all of the things that we've been seeing over the last few years. It all makes perfect sense. Even Stephen A. Smith is not allowed to be upset with LeBron too long on ESPN because he got to sit up there and twerk it up. If you look at the days when Stephen A. Smith is not on First Take and you just look at the fill-ins, it's like everybody's twerking. Even the new moderator on First Take, even her. Chris Mad Dog Russo came out and said, this is taking too long, man. Just make a decision like sports fans are. And the new moderator started getting upset with Chris Broussard, with Chris Mad Dog Russo for giving that opinion. Like, how dare you? Don't you know where we work? I mean, just look at the entire network. Malika Andrews, Dave McMenamin, Kendrick Perkins, even Stephen A. Smith to a certain extent. The whole lot of them. The only people that I've heard come out and give like views that weren't like not allegiance, that kind of were aligned. What most of what comes out of ESPN was Michael Wilbon last year when he said, "I refuse to," like when he made or PK Subban. You remember, like when it's a reason why whenever these guys speak and they say those things, they stand out. It makes headlines because you're not used to that from that network. Look at the coverage of ESPN games when LeBron is playing. Listen to Richard Jefferson or I forgot the lady that used to cover the game. Just listen to the coverage. It's like, damn, like what? Like, y'all covering sports or y'all covering this dude? Like, what is this? And this perfectly explains it all. And in case you didn't know, that decision that he was referring to, former NBA Commissioner David Stern was against it. He tried to get that decision to not actually happen. He was against it. Now, if it was Adam Silver, he would. We can't really talk much about Adam Silver because he's just a total pushover. I mean, you saw the news when he said that I wish LeBron would hurry up and make his decision. And you saw what came out after that LeBron and his camp were irritated by Adam Silver requesting for LeBron to make a decision soon enough. And therefore that caused him to delay his decision by a few days or whatever it is. But now, obviously, as we're doing the show, LeBron is already signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, which to me further indicates that he knows that he's never going to be Michael Jordan. And that the only way he can truly compete for titles is when he's on a super team. And if he's not on a super team, he's not really interested in competing. Even if you think about the times this guy's won titles, it's usually been on super teams. That's the case. So this makes perfect sense. It's the reason why ESPN was praising Bronny and all of this stuff. It's the reason why. You couldn't even say one negative word about the guy. That's the reason why you remember when LeBron did that appearance on Road Trip and when he said to Richard Jefferson, nothing gonna happen to you, man. You work at ESPN. Nothing gonna happen to you. And all of us were like, wait, what? What you mean nothing gonna happen to you? You work at ESPN, like this and this and this. He was revealing the pull and the power that he has at that company. Shams, who do you think gives Shams all this information? You think Shams has like a crystal ball, or he turns into Batman at night and hops on across the rooftops trying to find information? It's Rich Paul. How else? How else? When the whole story of Russell Westbrook becoming a locker room vampire, who do you think put out that story? Who? It was Dave McMenamin. Who does Dave McMenamin cover closely on the left? It was LeBron. Come on, like we all know the game here. But I'm just surprised that Ric Bucher now is actually like saying what was going on 15, 16 years ago. It all makes perfect sense now. So, as you guys know, recently Gilbert Arenas went viral for being a troll because he was recently at Fanatics Fest where he said that Jalen Brunson, think about this, Jalen Brunson is not a superstar. That's what, and of course they cursed him out and they booed him off the stage. And he deserved to be booed off the stage because Gilbert knew that he was trolling with that particular position. He knew that, right? But it had me thinking about popularity. So yesterday, Ric Bucher did a show where he was talking about LeBron's popularity. And he got into the whole thing of LeBron James' popularity in comparison to Michael Jordan. And he was essentially saying that it's not even close, that a lot of it is just media talk. He's nowhere near as popular as a player as Michael Jordan was at the peak of his powers. And then he revealed why the NBA went into why they went into that lockdown after Jordan retired, because the league was panicking because they knew their cash cow was leaving it's pretty wild stuff. Take a listen to what Ric Bucher had to say here.
LeBron has been a great subject and a boon for all sports media, again, because he's so polarizing. But the league and sports media will be just fine whenever he decides to call it a day. If anyone was uncertain about that, it was proven by the ratings for this NBA Finals, which were the largest since Michael Jordan last played. Ruminate on that for just a minute. For all the attention LeBron has generated, for all the finals he played in, 10, he never came close to eclipsing the attention Michael Jordan drew in his last finals. Or any finals. 5 most watched NBA finals ever all involved Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Against 4 different opponents, Utah, Phoenix, and Seattle. Utah twice. This year's Knicks Spurs finals ranks 6th. Jordan and the Bulls versus Portland is 7th. That's 3 small market opponents. Only one of LeBron's finals made the top 10, 9th. And that was in 2017, featuring one of the all-time great teams in NBA history in one of the league's biggest markets, that being the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Looking to exact revenge on LeBron and Kyrie Irving. Bottom line, neither the NBA nor the world will end when LeBron stops gracing NBA floors with his presence. Don't confuse social media chatter with market share. Way more money is still made off of TV contracts than via social posts. LeBron is or was a great, great player, and the length of time he has been great is truly remarkable, a testament to his dedication to his craft. But the league is not going to force a lockout in order to strong-arm a collective bargaining agreement out of the players to compensate for the loss in revenue they expected when their cash cow and number one attraction, Michael Jordan, called it a career. That's what happened. So why did Commissioner Adam Silver suggest that the league schedule, which historically hasn't been released until August anyway, is being held up because the schedule makers want to know where LeBron is playing before they complete it? A couple of reasons. One, it could be his last season, and obviously the league would like to broadcast as many games as possible. The Lakers were 17-65 Kobe Bryant's last season. Everyone knew they weren't going to be competitive. But the league still gave them 19 national TV appearances simply because it was Kobe's last year. 2, the Cavaliers were 9th in national TV appearances last year. If LeBron returns home with retirement as a possibility, certainly that number would go up, and the league would expect Cavs Heat games to be box office draws, as opposed to the interest in that matchup if LeBron is in Minnesota or Philadelphia. Or say he returns to Miami. The Heat were 23rd in national appearances last year. The league did not consider Giannis Antetokounmpo a draw last season, the Bucks ranking 13th in national TV appearances, so he alone wouldn't be enough to move the needle. LeBron returning to South Beach would.
So you heard what Rick had to say. You know, man, Ric Bucher is becoming like a gem, seriously, to sports media, because I believe that he's adding much needed context to a lot of the things that we've been told, and it's adding a lot of value to the NBA community. A lot of value to the NBA community. And when he reveals information like this and breaks it down the way that he breaks it down, I think all of us get smarter. And if you juxtapose that to a lot of the nonsense that we're used to hearing, my God, it's a breath of fresh air. So let's react to what Rick is saying here. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. The finals ratings are one thing. If you look at the ratings in general, they've been going down. But the numbers that Jalen Brunson and the Knicks brought in the finals represented like a turning point. Wemby and all of these guys. Because for that to be the most viewed NBA finals since Michael Jordan, that was a flashpoint. That right there was a flashpoint. In terms of the ratings, I don't think LeBron really cared much. I think LeBron cared about himself. That's the reason why that year when you had that horrendous All-Star game, when they had like 2,000 points in that game, it was reported that when Larry Bird and I think Dr. J went to go speak to the players in the locker room, after they finished giving a speech to essentially get these guys to take the game seriously, LeBron gave a side eye to the entire locker room and they just mailed it in. They just mailed it in. And I also want to say this. Rick also spoke about the fact that the NBA will move on. LeBron fans don't think so. If you look at our channel for a second, they think our channel is going to die when LeBron retires. Forgetting the fact that I remember 10 years ago that Kobe Bryant, not even, I'm not saying 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, Kobe Bryant videos used to dominate YouTube. They used to get so many views. This was when I was watching YouTube, but not thinking of talking about sports. Dominate YouTube. So I'm sure at one point they must have been saying to Kobe Bryant haters back then, oh, when YouTube goes away, you won't be able to stay alive. And well, look where we are right now. These guys feel like the NBA is going to come to a stop and a standstill once this guy leaves. Did you see the last playoffs? Last year's playoffs were absolutely like enthralling. And LeBron wasn't even in most of them. Yeah, some of the rounds that he played in, but the playoffs just got more and more exciting as the playoffs went on. So Rick is absolutely right. But this whole thing of comparing him to Jordan, look, I've always said that entire conversation is made up of a bunch of smoke and mirrors. There's nothing real there. There's absolutely nothing of any substance there. It's just people that are looking to feel good about their favorite player, and therefore they throw out comments like, well, if it's LeBron, this is what they think. This is what Gilbert Arenas said. Oh, man, what are some people going to do when LeBron James retires? How are they going to feed their... Would Gilbert Arenas have a channel if he wasn't a troll and a rage baiter? If he just went out there and gave normal takes, would anybody listen to Gilbert Arenas? Seriously. Gil is a master at rage bait. Master. Just being a contrarian. So, everybody has their thing. As you guys know, the bombshell stories out there of Cam Newton and Ryan Clark and all of these guys getting fired finally hit the fan. But this morning I saw something that really caught my attention. It was from Front Office Sports. I want to put it up here. It's from Dan Patrick. It says, "Show dignity to those people in how you let them go." Sports Talk host Dan Patrick on how ESPN handled their recent layoffs, and then he actually went on to give some very, very extensive comments. So what we want to do is I want to play what he had to say here from his channel today, and then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Dan Patrick here.
I've been gone from ESPN for 20 years now. I'm asked a lot of times about things that are going on at ESPN. And I always say, I don't know. Now, I have some friends who are still there. I talk to them. But for the most part, I kind of leave ESPN, up in Bristol, Connecticut. Had a wonderful 18 years there. So when somebody reaches out and said, hey, what do you think of the firings at ESPN? Well, I don't know how to comment on that other than, I hated to see Carl Ravitch after 33 years. Even Tom Pelissero, who just got from the NFL Network, came over there. There's a lot of people who lost jobs, and I hate seeing that in the industry. The only thing that I would say is show dignity to those people in how you let them go. That's all. It can't happen that Carl Ravitch is contacted by somebody wanting a comment. 33 years. And that's how it ends? Show dignity. Give them that dignity. And Ryan Clark is on NFL Live. Hey, it's about to break. It's about to break. Let's break the news to you right now in real time. If you get to the point where you know that you're not going to keep them, then contact them right away. Not wait. Not wait till somebody gets on set. Not somebody from a website is going to contact Carl Ravitch. Give them the dignity they deserve, not somebody calling you and saying, hey, can you comment on you being let go after 33 years? That, to me, that really bothered me. Because you can be better than that. It's a tough conversation to have. Bring them in, call them, go see them, Zoom with them. Like 33 years and you find out from somebody else other than your boss. That's a shame. I felt really bad for Carl Ravitch. He's had a great run, but that's not how you should be told that your services are no longer needed here. Give them dignity so they can prepare and maybe that they'll get out in front of it. Ryan Clark is told during a commercial break. He's the one that says, reportedly, am I done? Yeah, you're done. Like, that's it. And then you walk out of the building. I would have said, look, I'm a professional. I'm finishing the show. I promise I won't say anything. That was always what happened when people were let go or they left for other jobs. They immediately took you off the air because they thought you might go on SportsCenter, ESPN outlets and say something. And that's why as soon as it was announced, you're ushered out the door. But yeah, I felt bad about that. But the other, look, it's not the ESPN that I worked at or grew up with being a part of. But they're very successful in how they do it. But I would tell people, if you're going to go into this business, it's hard to go into the business and say, that is going to be my job forever. I would encourage you to be open-minded, have your head on a swivel, that chances are it won't be your last job. I think it's important to have relationships. Keep the relationships because it's a real small world that we work in. Somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Mike Golick just went back to ESPN Radio. I wouldn't be surprised if he does a cameo on Get Up. I mean, I would do that. Skip Bayless, they might be bringing him back. Rich Eisen came back. It's a small world. There's only a couple of big-time players in this with the networks. But don't go into it thinking, like I did, I thought I would retire at ESPN.
So you heard what he had to say. Now, according to reports, Ryan Clark was let go of on live TV. I believe in between commercial breaks. And given the way that Dan Patrick just described it, it was one of those things where it's like, get up and go now. You got to leave right now. It's almost like a player getting traded and you got to pack up your bag. I've heard some stories like players being on the bench and then saying you got traded, you got to leave right now to start heading to the next city. It's like, wow. So in the case of what he's saying here about, your job isn't guaranteed. It makes me wonder, do they always think that their job, like, is it like one of these things where they feel like they're Supreme Court justice where you get this job and it's like for lifetime? I always wondered that. Because I don't know who would feel like, oh, job security is 100%. The world is changing all the time. So it's either you're adapting and trying to evolve and reinvent yourself. I don't know why people would feel like that could happen, because even if you're doing a good job, what if the company you're working for goes under? You never know, right? But in terms of what they did, this is what happens when you don't prepare for a rainy day. But in the case of Ryan Clark and Cam Newton, for example, they did. They had their own platforms prior to joining ESPN. So they'll have something to fall back on, right? But now for the other people, I don't know if they set up their own shows, they have their own I don't know anything. I don't know if they did that. But in this day and age, if you're not diversifying yourself, come on, like, you're not serious. You have to diversify yourself. You have to do different things. It's no longer this thing like I was listening to Patrick David a number of years ago. Just do one thing and do one thing for 20 years. It's like, bro, are you serious? What are you talking about? Just do one thing for 1 year. For 20 years. There's a whole bunch of people that do multiple businesses. You never know. An industry may change. Something new may happen. So you have all your eggs in that one basket. You're pretty presumptive to think that nothing new is going to happen. And there's no business that's just foolproof where nothing at all can affect it. No. So having multiple businesses makes a lot of sense. And I don't know why he was given that advice. Look at the most successful people in the world. Most of them have multiple businesses. Some of them is listed, some of them that you know, and some of them you don't even know about. So this thing of, just having one business made, I never understood that. I never, ever understood that at all. Absolutely at all. Because you never know what could happen. And then this is no different in sports media. These guys, I think some of them that don't have platforms that couldn't build, that are only known for being on TV may struggle when they get into the independent space if they so choose to do that. Most people just can't do it. Most of these guys can't do it because on ESPN, on these networks, everything is set up for you. All you have to do is just go out there and perform. Where when you step into the independent realm, you got to build everything. You got to get your own audience and all of that. And it's hard. You see some people now resorting to AI thumbnails. It's like, it's hard. It's hard when you got to resort to AI thumbnails. It's a rough game out there, man. You better figure it out. You better figure it out, and you better be ready. It's not what the world used to be. You better not sit there and think, oh, everybody got to sit up. The news just broke. LeBron James is officially signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. And man, oh man, is it a bombshell update. Prior to this news coming out, I actually thought that LeBron was going to sign with the Miami Heat. I thought that would be the team that he would get the most run with, right? He can get the most minutes, etc. And I want to put up the details of this acquisition here because it's pretty interesting. So according to ESPN, it says LeBron James is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal with a player option, his agent Rich Paul told Shams. So we know he's going to be playing for probably 25 years. But it's no question that LeBron has now formed another super team, right? Because now you're going to be playing with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown. You add him and whoever else they have on the roster. He's basically trying to punch a ticket, if not to the NBA Finals, to the Eastern Conference Finals next season. And to me, I think that this can be nothing more than a public admission that he will never be Michael Jordan. Because it is clear that LeBron only wins championships when he stacks the deck. He doesn't believe in fighting through hardship and trying to figure it out. When the going gets tough, he leaves. He did it in Cleveland the first time. He did it in Miami the second time. He goes back to Cleveland for a third time. He leaves there. He goes back to LA and they told him it's time to leave. And then he leaves there. And then now he finds his way he finds his way on the Philadelphia 76ers, a team in which he has absolutely zero history with. Absolutely zero history. And now you're playing with Philly. And to me, yes, you're giving yourself a chance to win and yes, you're giving yourself a chance to win an NBA championship, but you're also making it clear that you'll never be MJ. MJ didn't have to play on 20 different teams to be a competitive NBA player, to win championships. He stayed with the Chicago Bulls and he figured out a way to win. They ultimately they got Scottie Pippen, they signed Horace Grant and a few other pieces, and they went out there and won. And the second three-peat, of course, you had Rodman and the rest of these guys, but Jordan figured it out. I don't think we can now have a GOAT debate. I think the GOAT debate, it's done for. It's done. There's nothing to debate here. Because even if LeBron were to win another championship, you got to look at how he's doing it. That's also very, very important. You got to look at the journey as well, right? It's like if one guy is worth $1 billion and the other guy is worth $1 billion, but one guy stole $1 billion and the other guy grinded and earned his money. Yeah, they're both billionaires, but it's two different things. One you can't respect, the other one you just can't respect. And I think there's no bigger admission than this. But the saddest part about all of this is that even if he somehow finds a way to win, LeBron fans will try to make it seem like as if this somehow pulls him on par with Jordan. It doesn't. If you look at the players that MJ was playing with at the latter stages of his career in Washington, Leitner, you had young rookies like Kwame Brown, Stackhouse. I can't even remember some of the other players that they were playing with. I think Larry Hughes, Ty Lue, and some of these guys. If I remember, so I think Larry Hughes or Ty Lue, I know played there as well. He wasn't playing with Anthony Davis. He wasn't playing with Luka Doncic or players like Austin Reeves or Jaylen Brown or Tyrese Maxey or Joel Embiid. Those weren't the caliber of players that he was playing with. Jordan could have easily come back and said, hey, I want to go join the super team, but obviously came back for ownership's sake. But no, he just wanted to play and compete, not this guy. And now basically what he's trying to do is cut in front of the line to get to the front of the line. He just cut past everybody. So a part of this, I think LeBron fans are celebrating because he has a legitimate shot at winning a title. He does. But I think if anything, this does wonders for his legacy, but I don't think it has anything to do with the GOAT debate. There's nothing GOATish about this on joining a super team with on your last leg. When Kobe tore his Achilles, he wasn't looking to, okay, what team can I go hop on? No, he just stayed there and he went down with the ship. He was there during the good and the bad times. And even the year when Kobe contemplated leaving the Lakers, he was planning to go to the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls weren't a powerhouse team. He was planning to go sign with the Chicago Bulls. They weren't a great team, not by any stretch of the imagination. He wasn't going to go form some super team somewhere. He wanted to go somewhere where he can embrace the challenge. So the question is, where's the challenge in this? And if he wins, how does this reflect poorly on MJ? Because now LeBron would have played for 25 years. And if he somehow, some way finds a way to win, let's say 2 championships, it means it would have taken him almost twice the time it took MJ to win 2 championships. Jordan played for what, 13 full seasons? He played for 25 years? 25 years? No, look, congratulations to him. I'm sure his fan base, they're running out there right now to go buy them buckets of honey and jars of honey, and they're just going to be having themselves a hell of a Friday night at home tonight. But I think this is him admitting it. His fan base would try to act like, oh no, Michael Jordan is, LeBron is, LeBron. There's no GOAT debate. There is absolutely no GOAT debate to be had here. That ship has sailed, ladies and gentlemen. It has sailed. It has sailed. It's over. And as again, more power to him. He's going to go try to win a chip with Philly and all of that. And of course, if they find a way to win, they're going to give him all the credit and talk about, he showed Maxey how to win and he showed Jaylen Brown how to win in another. Like, they're going to twist it however they want. But man, this is crazy. And I also got to say, Cleveland. Oh my God, bro. How many times has this dude took a dump on y'all, man? How many times has he taken a dump on Cleveland? Gee, at least if it's not Miami, I thought it'd been Cleveland because you're going home. I guess that didn't matter at all. The ring chasing continues on. So congratulations to him. But this is a public admission that he is no Michael Jordan.